Shia bin Abraham Joseph, much better known as 21 Savage, is a rapper who somehow gained a lot of popularity after appearing on the XXL freshman list of 2016. In preparation for this video, I listened to his projects Savage Mode and Slaughter King. He has been requested by many of you, so I decided fuck it, let's do it. But is 21 Savage one of the worst rappers in the game? Let's find out.
I'm just stunting on my ex, I was just flexing on my ex, bitch. Hold up, I'm just stunting on my ex, bitch.
Now real quick, I just want to say, if you're a 21 Savage fan and you're watching this, just let me know your opinions below, because believe it or not, I don't make these videos just to hate on these rappers. I'm open to hearing your opinions, so I hope you're open to hearing mine. And with that said, let's start with the first part, which is looking at his voice and delivery. I'm just gonna come right out with it. On most of his songs, 21 Savage has the most boring voice and dry delivery known to this universe. If you check out my Lil Uzi video in this series, I said he sounds bored and uninspired, but 21 makes Uzi sound like the most energetic rapper to walk this earth. It's annoying because he doesn't actually have a bad rapper voice particularly. He just has the most sleep-inducing delivery. As an example, listen to one of his bigger songs, X, featuring Future, which is another horrible collaboration for me. He doesn't even sound interested himself in what he's saying. It makes me get frustrated at his songs because he could easily put in a lot more effort and emotion. He actually shows this on the track Bad Guy from his Savage Mode EP with Metro Boomin. A further example is the second verse of Lord Forgive Me. I don't know why he struggles to rap like that a lot more often. It would make his music sound 10 times better. Overall, he has potential as nothing in his voice is too annoying, but his dead delivery is just horrible to listen to. He can only get a 3 out of 10 for this one. Now in our second segment, we are going to be looking at his flow. Now 21's flow overall seemed alright to me, but it was also nothing special. It's really hard to focus on his flow when his delivery is so low energy, but generally he has a slower typical flow. I thought his flow was quite nice and actually slightly switched up on Bad Guy, and also I was actually surprised by his flow on the track Lord Forgive Me. It didn't sound that bad at all to me. He also picks up the energy and does a different kind of faster paced flow on the song Rollies that sounds nice despite me not being a huge fan of the song overall. A word I'm going to use a lot is potential. Savage clearly shows that he has the potential to be a good rapper, but he either doesn't know how to use that potential or just doesn't care to unlock it. If you want some examples of his worse and more standard flows, check out No Heart, where it's sometimes hard to understand what he's even saying due to his mumbled flow. Overall, his flow could be so much better, but I feel like most of the time it's just a really standard flow, so I'll give him a 4 out of 10 for this. Now part 3, we're going to be looking at his lyrics. Now this is a part that I'm afraid Savage doesn't really do that well on. He sometimes has semi-intelligent and decent wordplay, such as on the song X when he says, "Diamond's got the flu, try not to catch this." I thought that was actually quite clever, but lyrics like this are few and far between. I appreciate the fact that he's trying to make gangsta rap type music with plenty of lyrics about killing and gang violence, but skill doesn't need to be sacrificed for that. People like Freddie Gibb show what new age gangsta rap should be like. Savage doesn't. He often doesn't really go above rhyming 2 syllables, and on the song Rollies, he, no lie, rhymes the word rollies for the first 8 fucking bars, then later in the same verse goes on to rhyme the words nothing with something. Tell me that's not basic. His rhyming never really is diverse, which is pretty bad considering rhyme is one of the fundamental parts of hip hop and can easily help distinguish between artists. I do appreciate the fact that Savage occasionally has decent wordplay, unlike some other rappers we've looked at in this series, but he seriously needs to work on his rhyming skills, which are basic as all hell. I'll have to give him a 2 out of 10 on this, as on 90% of his songs the lyrics are so low effort. And for part 4, we're going to be looking at his beat selection. In terms of beats, as usual, this is probably the best part of 21's music. But what I was surprised to find is that he doesn't even have incredible production. Even when he's working with amazing producers such as Metro Boomin, he still doesn't get their best beats. Well, the whole Savage Mode album has pretty much good production all throughout. It never had standout production to me. There never seems to be anything too ambitious on it. However, I always try to find positives in every part of these episodes, and I'm not saying he has bad beats at all. The beats he has from Zaytoven on his album Slaughter King are amazing. He produces the tracks Dip Dip and Motorcycle. I honestly thought these beats were fantastic and they helped me listen to those 2 songs a lot more. Also, it's worth mentioning that I actually think Motorcycle is a good song overall, not just the beat, but the beat for it is definitely the best part. It's such a classy beat and it just sounds beautiful. I also thought the beat for Feel It sounded pretty damn good, but apart from a few highlights here and there, a lot of it sounds very samey. On the Savage Mode album, it seems like Metro Boomin tried to match Savage's tone by giving him sleepier trap beats, which works for about 3 tracks, but after that it gets really monotonous, which is a shame because Metro can really produce great tracks. Overall, I'd say Savage is definitely not bad in terms of beat selection, he just needs to diversify a little more. I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10 for this. And for part 5, our final part here, we'll be looking at how much I enjoyed his music as a whole. Now after that fairly positive beat selection segment comes this. So I listened to 2 projects to prepare for this video. I checked out his Savage Mode album and his Slaughter King album, and I definitely heard enough to make a fair judgment of them. Let's start with Savage Mode. There was only really a couple tracks on here that I could actually say I liked, and even then I don't love those tracks. The best ones on here for me are Bad Guy, Mad High, and Feel It, which is actually a kind of love song, which was a decent shift of subject matter for the album. I could have liked the track X a lot more, but I really hated how for most of the verses on the song, Savage and Future would say "hold up" after every single goddamn line. Those flows work for like segments of some songs, but they get really annoying if you constantly use them. The thing I hated the most about this, to be honest, was just how low tempo it was. I've already mentioned Savage's low energy delivery, and it really doesn't carry over a whole project well. The only reason this album didn't tire me out was because it was fairly short. Overall, I wasn't a huge fan of this. Now for the Slaughter King album. If I didn't like Savage Mode much, I cared even less for this album. It actually starts off with a track I genuinely enjoyed called Lord Forgive Me. Then after that, it was mostly a downhill journey for me. Front Door was a really uninteresting track, and to be honest, most of the tracks here were really dry and honestly quite boring. I really disliked the track Wow, which seemed to be like one of those songs that tries to be repetitive as hell to make something a catchphrase popularized by the rapper saying it. Another thing that annoyed me is on tracks like Deserve, you can clearly tell Savage came from a difficult background, so I don't understand why he can't dive a bit deeper into that and sometimes make more personal tracks. And his lyrics weren't good here for the most part. His line "eat you like a sandwich" is the most basic simile I've ever heard in my life, and in one track he says "I'm a dog like Michael Vick," which of course I get what he was trying to say, but Michael Vick himself was not a dog, and that's what he said if you look at it. Overall, the only tracks here I liked were Lord Forgive Me and Motorcycle, and I genuinely, no exaggeration, no hyperbole, almost fell asleep towards the last 3 tracks of this. So as you can see, I really didn't enjoy Slaughter King, and I wasn't much of a fan of Savage Mode either. I went into this with an open mind, and I tried to, went into it positive, and I went into it actually wanting to like it, but I just honestly did not. So I can only give Savage a 1 out of 10 for my overall enjoyment of his projects. And now I'm gonna give you my verdict and my overall ranking for 21 Savage. So overall, 21 Savage scored a grand total of 16.5 out of 50, which is the second lowest numerical score in the series so far. He beats Uzi by just 0.5 for that, but in my opinion, that actually just narrowly does not reflect my true feelings. See, if I was given the choice, I would easily listen to Lil Uzi Vert over 21 Savage any day, and for that reason, 21 Savage takes her spot as the current worst rapper in the game that I have looked at so far. Congratulations, Lil Uzi Vert, you are no longer at the bottom of my ranking. Now, if you're a 21 Savage fan and you're still here, thank you for watching, and let me know your opinions below, because believe it or not, I don't make these videos just to hate on these rappers. I go into it with an open mind and wanting to like their music, and if I don't, then I just don't, and this is my honest opinion. Now, I'm open to hearing your opinion, so I hope you've been open to hearing mine, and don't take anything I say to heart, because at the end of the day, I'm not directly attacking you. Well guys, that is going to be it for the video today. Thank you so much for watching this. This has been episode 5 of my worst rappers in the game series. This has definitely been my most controversial series so far. I guess a lot of dislikes, especially the Lil Uzi Vert video, because these videos kind of attract the fans who, I don't want to insult them, but a lot of them don't really listen to my opinion, or they just take it as I'm hating on the rapper and they dislike straight away without even listening to what I have to say and not even thinking that someone could have a different opinion from them. But anyway, it's a fun video to do, so I'm gonna keep this series coming. Usually this comes around every second Friday for you guys, and I hope you really enjoyed it. I had fun making this one. Sorry if the audio quality isn't as good. I am in Scotland just now. I don't actually live there. I lived here for 13 years and it is like my home. But I moved abroad a while ago and I'm just back here just now, so I haven't really found a room yet that's ideal for recording, so the audio quality might sound a little bit off, but I'll work on making it as good as possible. With that being said guys, there's a link to my Twitter in the description below, or you can just search for me at CDTVProductions. I'd really appreciate if you follow me there. It's much easier to contact you guys if you want to DM me or just tweet at me. Do whatever you want. It's a lot easier for me to contact you and speak to you guys than in the comments, which are just getting like flooded now. It's insane. And there's also a link to my Patreon in the description below, or you can just click the annotation on the screen to go and support me there. I'd really appreciate if you guys could donate any amount of money to me. As I've said before, you don't need to, but it would be appreciated. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching, guys, and this is CDTV Productions signing out.